Why that far away? Thanks, Bhante.
That's too far away.
Yeah, too far. You know, you will feel that energy that you
First of all, I would like to welcome Bhante Vimalaramsi. I know that you know him very well because he has done one course before. And our Suvartha several times mentioned you, our children, to participate in this program. But unfortunately, few of you have been here today. However, even one person is there, it is good. I think after observing 5 precepts, Bhante Vimalaramsi will give you a talk and discussion. First of all, say Namo Tassa Sri and observe the 5 precepts. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Pānādipātā vēramaṇī sikkhapadan samādhiyāmi. Adinādānā vēramaṇī sikkhapadan samādhiyāmi. Kāmīsu miccācārā vēramaṇī sikkhapadan samādhiyāmi. Musāvādā vēramaṇī sikkhapadan samādhiyāmi. Surāmīraya majjapamā daṭṭhānā vēramaṇī sikkhapadan samādhiyāmi.
How are you this morning? Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about generosity and what it really means. Almost everybody will tell you generosity means giving money or giving food. But generosity is bigger than that. The more you give of your happy mood to other people, that is the way you want to practice your generosity. You give by saying kind things to other people, saying things that are nice, not hurtful. You give by doing things that help other people, especially your parents. And you think kindly thoughts, happy thoughts, and give that to other people. That means that you're practicing your generosity. It doesn't necessarily have to be material gifts that you're giving. The more you can give of your smiles and your happiness, the more you affect the world around you in a positive way. Okay? So, you have to practice smile. And smile all the time. Why? Because the corners of your mouth are real important. And when the corners of your mouth go down, what kind of mental state do you have? When the corners of your mouth go up, how do you feel? Happy. That means your mind is happy. And then that means that you're starting to practice giving your smile away. And that's a kind of generosity, isn't it? So the more times you can have a happy mind and give that happy feeling to everybody else around you, the more you affect the world in a positive way. Now, quite often I have people that are not happy with each other and they come and they talk to me. And when they're talking to each other and they're very unhappy and they're saying things and talking at the same time and all of that sort of thing. I don't try to stop them from fighting. I don't even say anything. But in my mind, what I do is I send them loving and kind thoughts. And before long, they're not arguing with each other. And they're just starting to talk with each other a little bit. And before long, they become very friendly again. And then they say, "Thank you very much, Bhante," and they go out and do whatever they're going to do. And I haven't said a word. Now, how do I affect the world around me? When I'm sending loving and kind thoughts to them. The more you can remember to say things that are very kind to other people, that make them smile, the more you can smile and get other people to smile, the more you bring happiness into the world. And the more happiness there is in the world, the easier everything becomes. So it's a real important practice to learn how to send loving and kind thoughts to other people. This is what the Buddha called meditation. Now, meditation is a lot different than what you think. When you hear people talk about meditation, they have this idea that you have to sit very still and don't move and close your eyes. That's only a small part of what meditation is. Meditation means learning how to develop your mind so that you can be happy all of the time. And that means that while you're sending loving and kind thoughts to someone else, you have to feel loving and kind before you can give it away, right? If you don't have something, how can you give it away? If you don't feel happy, how can you help other people to feel happy? Now, this is really true with your parents. They come in and they're tired from work or doing whatever they do, and they don't look particularly happy. What's your job? To think and send them a lot of loving and kind thoughts. That's how you help them. Now, one of the things that I want to teach you today is how to meditate. Okay, and this is not just sitting. Now, before you go to sleep at night, when your parents come in and wish you good night, what I want you to do is tell them that you want to start practicing some loving and kind thoughts. So you start out by saying to them, Mom, I really love you, and I wish you happiness. And Dad, I really love you, and I wish you happiness. And then any brothers or sisters, you wish them happiness. I love you. I wish you happiness. Okay? And then any aunts and uncles, and then any friends that you have. You just do this one time for each person. I love you and I wish you happiness, but you have to do this every night. And what happens when you start developing this habit of wishing everybody in your family happiness is that you start thinking about them in very nice, positive ways. And you start feeling that loving, kind feeling growing in your chest. Now, when you can do that for a little while, and you have to do it every night, but you do that for a little while, a few weeks or a month or 6 weeks, however long, then you'll start noticing that your mind starts thinking about other people during the day that you see. And in your mind, you don't have to say it out loud, but in your mind you can say, I wish you happiness. But the trick is you have to be smiling when you do it. Okay? So at night, when you say this to your mom or your dad and about all your brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and everybody in your family and your friends, you want to practice having a smile on your face. Now, when you go and look at a Buddha image, you see that he has a little smile on his face. Not a big smile, just a little one. That's good. So the more you can practice smiling and having that smile in your mind, in your heart, now you're learning how to practice loving kindness. And every time you think very kind thoughts about someone else, and you have that smile in your heart, you're practicing your generosity. Now, why am I making such a big thing about practicing generosity? Because if you can't give your kind thoughts and kind feelings away, then you become very selfish and you think only of yourself. And the more you think only of yourself, the less happiness comes up in your life. And the Buddha taught a very plain lesson, and that is the more we help other people, the happier we become. So it's a real important practice to practice thinking kind and loving thoughts to all of your friends at school, wishing them a happy mind. And if you see two of your friends are not happy with each other and you want to help them, then you don't say anything to them, you don't get in the way of their arguing. You stand beside one of them and just start wishing both of them happiness. And that will change their mind. And before long, they will become friends again. Especially now, because there's so many peculiar things happening in the world. There's an awful lot of fear. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of unhappiness. And if you want to help overcome those problems, especially in your own family, then it takes practice. And you need to start sending loving and kind thoughts to everybody in your family. Now, this is not only when you're in bed at night. Whenever you see one of your family members that is sad and you want to help them, then you start putting that little smile on your face and you start sending them loving and kind thoughts. I wish you happiness. Now, there's a warm, kind of glowing feeling in the center of your chest. Have you ever had a little animal, like a little puppy or a little kitten, and you pick him up and you hold him and you really feel you love that little animal a lot? That's the kind of feeling that loving kindness is. It's that warm, happy feeling in your chest. So you have that feeling when you're wishing happiness for someone else. Probably one of the biggest, well, it is one of the biggest problems, is that when things are difficult, and we want to help, but we don't know what to do. So when you start sending happy thoughts to someone that is unhappy, you start seeing that, yeah, I can help. So you don't have this feeling of helplessness. There are going to be times in your life where there is going to be some suffering. That's one of the things the Buddha said. There's times in your life when you're not going to feel so happy. When things are painful. That's part of life, isn't it? But when you can remember to send loving and kind thoughts to yourself and wish yourself well instead of thinking about the problem, you just let that thought be by itself. You don't keep your attention on the problem. You relax your mind and then start wishing yourself happiness. When you do that, the problem starts to fade away. But it takes practice. And that's why every night, what I want you to do is wish your mom happiness and wish your dad happiness, and wish your brothers and sisters happiness, and your whole family, your aunts and uncles and cousins. Anyone that you can think of. And if you have some friends that you want to send some loving and kind thought to, use those to keep them in your mind when you're sending loving and kind thoughts. As you practice this every day, you'll start to notice that things become easier for you. You don't have the high emotions and get angry so easily and so quickly. What happens is your mind starts to have more balance in it. But it takes practice to be able to do this. And the more you can practice, especially during the day, you see one of your friends is unhappy for whatever reason, and you want to help them, you wish them happiness in your mind. You don't have to tell them what you're doing. They will feel that. And their mind will start to get a sense of balance in it. Here's something else I would like you to do. I want you to stand in front of a mirror and for 1 minute, smile. And then when you see you're not smiling, smile again. And in your mind, wish yourself happiness. Do this every day for 1 minute before you go to school. And you'll find out that you feel good when you get to school. You feel happy when you get to school. And school becomes more interesting. And when you have more interest, did I just do something? No. When you have more interest in being at school, your grades get better. Because you're having fun. So, this practice of meditation that I'm showing you right now is not just about sitting like a Buddha image. It's about watching what your mind is doing. And if it's not happy, then let go of those thoughts and help someone else to be happy. But you have to remember, you can't give something away unless you have it yourself. Isn't that right? You can't give $1 away unless you have $1 in your pocket, right? You can't give happy feelings away unless you feel happy. So the more you practice being happy, the more you can give away. And it's kind of fun to watch how everything happens after you start sending loving and kind thoughts to other people. And another advantage of doing this is other people will start to like you a lot. They feel very comfortable around you. You'll have a lot of friends. I'm not saying you don't have friends now, I'm sure you all do. But you'll have more when you start sending loving and kind thoughts to them. And even strangers will feel comfortable around you. This is one of the things that the Buddha talked, one of the advantages of practicing loving and kind thoughts. And animals like you. That's another advantage. One time I was in Malaysia and I went to visit this monastery, and they have a dog, and I like dogs. So I saw this little dog and I reached down to touch it and scratch him, and the dog was very shocked and turned around and started snapping at me, and I thought, whoa, the dog's trying to bite me. So I radiated loving kindness to the dog. And then I went on and did my whatever I was going to do. And I walked through this one area where there was a big rock. And this dog ran up in front of me and jumped up on the rock. And as I walked by, the dog licked my hand. Now, why would that happen? Because the dog knew I wasn't afraid of it, and the dog felt that loving and kind feeling that I sent to the dog, and they were saying thank you. See, the thing is, all beings want the same thing. We all want the same thing. We all want to be loved. So, give your love away. That's how you get more. Whatever you give, you get. You give your anger to someone, you get angry, they get your anger back. You give love to someone, the love comes back to you. That's the way karma works, isn't it? So the more you can practice being happy, the more you can practice having that little smile on your face, no matter what you're doing, then your mind is uplifted and you start to feel joy coming through. And it's really a nice, happy feeling. It's a feeling that will make you smile. Sometimes it can last all day, but it takes practice to keep it there. So you don't forget, when you go to bed at night, you get your mom or dad to help you and remind you of all the different people that you need to say, I wish you happiness. And you do this every night. Then your mind will naturally begin to be happy all the time. And when you see there is stress or anger or anxiety, it doesn't matter where it is, you can send loving and kind thoughts to those people that are having so much pain. And you're helping. You're not helpless. You're helping them more than you would ever suspect. So it's a real important thing to learn what meditation is. Meditation means developing your mind so that you can be happy all the time. The Pali word bhavana means mental development. It doesn't mean sitting in one place and being like a Buddha image. It means being able to watch what your mind is doing and try to help other people be happy. Okay? You going to do this for me? Try it tonight? The more you can give your happiness to the world, the happier the world will become. Sometimes I go into a store and there's a little baby that's crying. So what I do is I help the mother by just standing by the baby and wishing that baby happiness, and before long they stop crying and they start smiling. So I helped the mother, but I didn't touch anybody except with my mind. That's how strong your mind can become. But it does take practice. So you need to do it every night. And if your mom or dad says, well, I don't have time, you say, no. You have to have time for this. I need your help. Okay? So you get your parents to help you so that you can develop this skill of being happy and being able to help other people so they'll become happy. That's the whole of the Buddha's teaching. He wanted people to recognize when you're not happy, let go of the unhappiness, bring up happy feelings, and keep those happy feelings going. This is part of the Eightfold Path. This is called right effort. So the more you practice it, the better you become. One of the things that the Buddha said was, what you think and ponder on, that's the inclination of your mind. Now what does that mean? You hold a certain kind of thought in your mind, and you keep coming back to that thought over and over again, then your mind will naturally start to have that thought arise. And what we want to do is we want to let go of our old habits of being unhappy, of getting angry. We want to let go of those kind of habits, and we want to develop good habits, the kind of habits that naturally make our mind feel good. So it's real important to do this every night. So you can start changing your old habits that are bad into good habits that are fun. Okay, now I've been talking for a while. I don't know how long I was supposed to talk.
What's the time now? 9:50. 9:50.
Okay. So what I want you to do right now is just gently close your eyes for a moment. And in your mind's eye, see your mom. and think about times when your mom was really, really nice. And wish her that happy feeling. Now do that for your dad. Now you have to have a little smile on your face. See how it makes your mind feel nice? So the more you can do something like this, you wish your mom and dad happiness, the happier they will become with you. And that means you're going to have a lot more fun. Okay, you can open your eyes now. That make your mind feel good? Ah, see? It's a real important thing that you do this often. Now, in one of the suttas, it says that it doesn't matter when somebody comes at you and they tell you something that's not true. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they come at you, if they're angry. That doesn't matter. What you're supposed to do is you see that other person and you wish them happiness. And then you wish all beings in the world happiness. That's what it says in the sutta. It doesn't matter what somebody else says to you or about you. That's just someone else's opinion. You know what the truth is. You know that you're a good person, even though somebody says you're not. You don't have to pay attention to them. You see that other person suffer, then you wish them happiness, so their suffering will become less. Well, but what they said was a lie. So, doesn't matter what they say. The more you practice this kind of meditation, the less that will happen. The less people will come at you saying things that aren't true or saying things with anger. You start to develop this feeling around you where people feel comfortable and they feel like smiling. But you have to remember to give that feeling away. Often. As much as you can remember to do it. Okay? That means everybody in school, oh, I don't like that person. They're nasty to me. So what? Are they suffering? Are they unhappy? So you give them your loving and kind thoughts so that they can let go of that unhappiness. Okay, does anybody have any questions? So I gave you two things to do now. One is every day you have to stand in front of a mirror for 1 minute and smile. And every time you see you're not smiling, then smile again. And while you're doing that, wish yourself happiness. One of the things that the Buddha said was, anybody that truly loves themselves will never harm another person or another being. So you have to practice liking yourself, wishing yourself happiness, and that way you can give it all away. Okay? So the first thing is to stand in front of the mirror and smile. And the second thing is when you go to bed at night, you have your mom or dad there and you have them help you wish everybody in your family happiness. Okay? Easy. Don't let a night go by without doing that. I'm sure the parents are loving me saying this to you. But all of the parents will benefit from this too. You'll see. Okay, nobody has any questions? You all understand what I'm talking about? Okay?
Change.